And good evening and welcome. So I'm going to be running through here somewhat laboriously, with some detail, the creation of a new character on City of Heroes Homecoming for anyone who is considering or has decided to start playing now that the server is going to be officially recognized. Thank you to the Homecoming dev team, and thank you for the people at NCSoft who put in the hours there and, argued up the food chain to get it approved. So, on your splash screen, you will choose a server. 4 of these servers, I believe, are located in Canada. One of them is European. I'm sorry, I don't know which is European. Most of my characters are on Everlasting, so I'm going to choose that one. I have many characters. I have 39 of them. Going to be 40. Okay, so here. First thing you have to do is you have to choose sort of the server details. Your origin, for starters. City of Heroes, excuse me, Freedom is City of Heroes and City of Villains. Going Rogue is the Mirror Universe version, where you can play a villain who is supporting the government or fighting against the government, or you can play a hero who's doing these same 2 options. I'm going to suggest, at least for starters, you want to start with City of Heroes Freedom. We have science, mutation, magic, technology, and natural origins for a character. These are not build defining. What they define is the kind of buff items that you will need to have. So, I believe these are actually in sort of a rotating order. So a natural character will need either a natural item, a technology item, or wrap around to science. So you can't use every one of these items that will buff your skills on every character. We are going to choose natural for our guy. Science, I think. And here's the playstyle. They give you your choices here. You can be a tank, melee damage, ranged damage, crowd control, support, or pets. Now, there's a little more flexible, as you see when we get to archetype, in that there are sort of sub-options under these as well. But we're going to choose ranged damage as it's the most simple and straightforward. And here are your options for ranged damage. A blaster. You select it, and down here you will see a sort of estimation as to how survivable they are, how much melee damage they do, how much range damage they do, what kind of crowd control, support, and pets ability they have. So you can see that a blaster is ranged damage with good melee damage as well. It was back in the original game, the original glass cannon. For a while, because clearly doing boatloads of damage is the most fun, a lot of people refer to the game as City of Blasters. You can also be a corruptor, where you have rain damage and support as primary options. Defender, where it's more support. Sentinel, where it's balanced survivability and ranged damage. And an Arachno Soldier, who is a villain class only, although you can swap later on, with survivability and ranged damage. Arachno's Widow has some ranged damage, but mostly melee damage and survivability. Facebringer and Warshade are a couple of different alien-specific classes. But I'm going to go with the Sentinel, a good balance of survivability and ranged damage. Now you have this chart is available for all of the playstyles, so if you went melee damage, Again, you've got Brute, Scrapper, Stalker. That's the stealth class, Tanker, and these soldiers are considered to also fall into that archetype. But I'm going to go with ranged, and I'm going to go with Sentinel, as it's a good balance of survivability and range. Next up is the primary power set. In this case, these are going to be ranged attacks. All of the original game power sets are in, but they have added additional ones. Archery, assault rifle, beam rifle, dark blast, dual pistols, electrical, energy, fire, ice, psychic, radiation, seismic, sonic, storm, and water. We'll go just old-fashioned, and we'll give them a gun. In all of these cases, you'll have two choices in your primary as to what you want to start with as your offensive skill. I'll go with Burst, very straightforward, shoot some guns. Others are Disorienting Shot, which does a little damage, but also makes them unable to attack for a little while. You've got Buckshot for shotgun, it's an AE, and Cone. You've got Slug, and so on. Not all of them are direct damaging attacks. Things like Aim gives you a buff to your aim. This is a game in which you can miss. A lot of MMOs they make these days, they've decided, well, players are annoyed when they miss. Let's just make them never miss. Well, that's not the case in an old school game like this. You can miss. So we'll go with Burst. The secondary, we have to choose again, but this time we'll just get a specific power. Willpower. I think we're going to go with willpower. No, you do have to get to choose. My apologies, I was wrong. You aren't invulnerable, bullets don't bounce off you. If you're cut, you bleed. You are, however, tough, grizzled, and strong-willed. It makes more than a little cut to take you down. Willpower offers a strong balance of healing, damage resistance, and defense. You have no real vulnerabilities. High pain tolerance. Slightly resistant to all types of damage. It's an always-on and costs no endurance skill. So in essence, it's an always-on passive. Mind over Body is a toggle. Become resistant to smashing, lethal, and psionic damage. And it's a toggle, so it's constantly running and draining your endurance. Think endurance is sort of like mana in a lot of ways, in a lot of games, where you have your hit points and your mana bar. Endurance is used to operate a lot of your skills, and if you don't have enough, your skills, a toggle may turn off, or you may not be able to use your skills. But we're going to go with Mind over Body. And here is where you start getting all super heroic. You have you have male, female, and huge options. We're going to go with male. Slim, average, athletic, heavy. Well, since he's going to be me, more or less. And you have sliders here for various things on them. So, for instance, I'm going to lower my height down to a more normal, say, 5'9". The costume is the next, and you can spend an enormous amount of time on your costume. And if you get into the game, if not on your first character, eventually you will spend enormous amounts of time on your costume. There are a lot of specific sets. Chaos, Fighter, Metallic. More options than you can possibly shake a stick at. But these are just the full sets. You can customize the individual bits and pieces however you like. Sport. Not quite what we're looking for. I don't see a suit. Hello there. You can mix and match the parts and the colors. By default, the colors will be linked. So all pieces will have the same colors. But you can unlink them, and I'll show that in a sec. Suit. So they're currently linked. Now they're unlinked, I think. Yeah, it says unlinked now. So now I can make individual changes. So we've got hats. I'm not going to be wearing a hat. I was going to go bald, so yeah, let's go bald. Face options. Lots of face options. But I'm not wearing a mask. Hair, none is correct because the ears are fine. I do wear glasses. I do not wear blast goggles. Let's go with round. That'll do, I think. I do not have a mustache or a soul patch. There are lots of options here, not just facial hair. Yeah, I'll tune his skin color in a sec. What I'm looking for is... Yeah, you see, that's more like what a Fu Manchu. People say Fu Manchu all the time, but that's not what a Fu Manchu is. Musketeer. That's not bad, but I don't think he's got the mustache as well. We can't have that. Beard large is a bit much. Beard full. Beard clean isn't bad. So by default, it's going to black and a highlight of white. But it's just going to be white because that's what I've got. The skin color is a bit on the pink side. That's a little pale. That's a little better. In between, how about here? No, here. I should note, I am using a beta option. This was, I think, in the game. It is a beta option. I have it turned on. By default, it is turned off. And that is cel-shaded graphics. So you see the black outline around, like, say, my hands here. That's cel shading. It gives it, I think, a more cartoony look. I like it. You may not. But I want you to be aware of it, that if your screen doesn't look exactly like mine, that's the reason. Now, what we're actually looking for is a jacket, but we're looking not for a blazer. More of a lab coat. Don't like that. Lab coat open, I think, is the right option. So we'll change the primary color here. You have the primary and secondary color. The primary color we're going to change to white. And let's see, we want the sleeves the same way. There we go. And we'll head back to the blazer here. The chest, we have a dress shirt. I could put on my tie. I still have my tie here from New Year's Eve. But that would probably be excessive. He's going to be a professor, but I was going to go professor. I may go with a doctor. I think professor is a little more appropriate. Dress shirt, let's see. How's this shirt look? Oh, it's sort of pinstripey. That's nice. We'll go with sort of a grayer shirt. Now, obviously, the dress tie. Power tie. You got to have the power tie. There you go. That's true. Well, actually, I would say that a very large large proportion of professors are also doctors. No gloves. The belt seems, it's saying none. Let's see. Standard, an office belt, clearly. Yeah, he's an office belt kind of guy. Doesn't seem to be changing the color on that one. Interesting. Don't know why. We'll go to the lower body. He's a pretty casual kind of professor in his lab coat. Gotta say, in this particular case, it's not an especially lab coat, but it's fine. Pants. Slacks? Nah. Basic pants. Cargo pants? I don't think he's a cargo pants kind of guy. Definitely not a motorcycle leathers kind of guy. Just pants. He does not have a tail. The boots, cowboy boots, no. Just no. He's definitely not a cowboy boots kind of guy. He's pretty casual, so he's going to have, I think... No. Converse Reds. They gotta go with the tie. It's important. So I am taking a little time here on this to show you some of the options that are available. Weapons. He has an assault rifle, because of course he does. Click to display a weapon in your costume when not in use. It's a holstered assault rifle. Which one do we want? Legacy Mercenary Assault, Military Assault. Ooh, kind of like that. Sniper Gun, Tommy Gun, if you're an old school kind of guy. I have mine ready to go for this character. Lots and lots of various freaking guns. Holy crap, holy. Let's just go with a classic, you know? Back detail. None. Nothing special about his back. Nor am I going to give him any auras. They are all unlocked. They're all immediately available. The only things that are not immediately available to any new character, I will show those in a few minutes when we get there. There is what was previously, if you were a subscriber, you had access to, when the game was live. And after they went free to play, there is a vendor who was only available to subscribing accounts. Now that is still available. Most of the stuff on there is free. Some of it costs the in-game currency, which you get just through doing missions and the like. You can also customize the appearance of your powers. So if you're shooting rays out of your hand, you can choose a color of ray that you want to shoot. One sec, I need to check something. Yep, okay. There it is, Professor for new guys. Because that's what I'm doing this for, is to help out the new guys. I said I had a name, I didn't say it was a good one. And I've given him a battle cry. You can press a single button and your character will cry out in battle his battle cry. Hulk Smash would be an example. And I normally have some sort of character description. I'm going to skip it here. A lot of times the bios, which are readable in-game, other people's bios can be enormously entertaining. I wish to play the tutorial. I think it is important to play the tutorial the first time through at least. Now here, you have to choose. Are you a villain, a good guy, or I'm not even sure what happens if you go to Galaxy City as your tutorial zone. Because I know they changed that later on in the game. I suggest taking Outbreak, where there's a small section of Paragon City where there's an outbreak of disease. So we're going to go to Outbreak. Character creation ready to go, and yes. Now, you can't see it, but here in the lower left is the chat. What you can also do is you can move your various windows around if you like a different arrangement. For instance, right now, this thing shows target, and historically where I will move that to is like here. So I would have my own stats here and the target there. But in this particular case, I don't want someone to tune in and then when they get into the game, not know how to move these things. They're click and draggable easily enough. Let me show you this one. So you can see what we've got here. Team basically is for your group stuff. League is your guild equivalent, friends list, super group, email, looking for game, tab, and then those are other chat tabs. I will show you right now where is it menu. We'll go to ID. Here is where you have the information on your character. Also, here is the options. I will show you before I go any further the one specific one that I mentioned earlier. If you go to graphics, that is a follow from Mandraken60. I only have one spiel. Here it comes. Welcome to my humble little stream of misfunction, malfunction, dysfunction, and frequently complete and total unfunction. You're most welcome indeed, and thank you very, very much for the follow. So I enlarged this window a little bit. One thing you do need to be aware of, this is an old school game, which means a lot of the gameplay mechanics are going to be different, maybe clunky from what you're used to. And that will be an adjustment for any player who hasn't played any old schooly type game. So if you open up the options under menus, graphics and audio, and you scroll down here to experimental graphics setting, you'll see I have cell shader enabled. That's why my graphics will look a little bit different from other people's. I think it requires a reboot, or I would turn it off. There are lots and lots of options, as you can see. General, control options, full key mapping control, and what to do with windows, in-game windows. So that's the sort of thing that you wouldn't want to do the first time, is do a whole lot of stuff with that. Note, you cannot escape to close a window. Sadly, that's the one change I really wish they would make, is escape closes windows. As far as I know, there's no key mapping for it. View, zoom in, no, view, chat, powers, tray, team, windows. Yeah, there is no close window key that can be set. What you have to do to close a window like this is there is a small X here in the lower right hand corner, a small red X. And that's what how small can you make your character? I don't think too terribly small. I don't think you can go like down to a foot. I think you can. My smallest, I think, is probably about 4 feet, and I would have made him as small as possible. His name is the Dink, and he's Dinky. So that's, I think, probably about 4 feet or the equivalent thereof. So one of the things I'm talking about with the old school nature is you have to click the close button to close a window. No power that I can think of similar. There may be temporary powers you can get in-game or in missions that allow you to shrink yourself down that far. I'm not certain. But here's something I'm going to do as a hint to all of you. Here in the lower right, you can see we have this window. Like all windows, they are movable. I'm going to give us a second bar. I'm going to set it to the number 2. That's basically hotbar number 2. And I'm going to slide it barely into the corner. And then I'm going to put this one right on top of it. And this is the way I like to have it. Again, this is going to be a matter of taste. This allows me to have 2 bars. Most of the time, for instance, this is a toggle. And I'm going to move that down to the second bar, because I don't foresee myself turning it on and off a lot. And that's me turning on the toggle skill. You have a default also here, which is brawl skill. Eventually you'll have enough skills that you don't need it. But you start off with essentially 1 combat skill. This is a second one. If you go to your powers list, You can see we have burst, mind over body. We also have a prestige attack. This again was one of the things that was only available when the game was live if you were a subscriber. This gives us a second ranged attack that we can use. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but we'll drag it under our hotbar anyway. The other things we have here are a prestige power slide, which is a run speed boost with a special visual on it. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of it. We have sprint, which is just a basic run. And then we have opportunity, which is an automatic that's always on. And vulnerability, which is a debuff we can apply to other things. So it's basically showing you all of the stuff. And then in inherent powers, you have swiftness, hurdle, a jumping ability, health regeneration, and self-recovery for stamina and endurance. So we have a few players here. This is an NPC. The arrow pointing down at his head is essentially, you should talk to this guy. It's a quest giver. And again, old school, it's not voiced. I will not be reading these aloud or otherwise. So I'm going to just simply, you can ask him for information, ask about this contact, and it'll give you information about Officer Flint here. But I'll ask about available missions. He needs an antidote to these berserk thugs. He's gathered a blood sample, take it to Dr. Miller. And it shows you that Dr. Miller will appear up here on the heads-up display, the compass rotation, and it'll have the information. I will also note up here, you can have the map, in which case it's a mini-map, contacts, people you've met and can talk to, ongoing missions, clues, which is an in-game mechanic, and badges, which is the achieve system. I will also note that a lot of times you won't have any quest listed over here, just like I don't, and you may have to go to a contact or a mission and select it to get the mission to show up here. I'm going to accept this task. I have found a clue. The current mission, delivering serum to Dr. Miller. You'll note he appears on the screen. He's here in the compass rotation up here, but he's also on screen 118 yards away. What's up, Doc? Sorry. Thank you. The sample will help our research immensely. Read the terminal in front of the hospital. Metacom and defeat. As if you're defeated, you don't die because you're a superhero. Don't be ridiculous. Or supervillain. You have an associate that can revive you, and you will come back at the hospital. You do not lose experience, but you can gain what's called experience debt. You won't get it. It won't happen at low levels. It happens at higher levels. If you die, you take a little bit of experience debt, and what that means is you get half XP for advancement and half XP to pay off the debt until you paid off the debt. We now have to go back. Officer Flint. He offers me an option to be introduced to a new contact, and we'll accept it. It's Officer Parks. I can jump like this in real life, by the way. Not lying at all. Totally honest. Although I do make more noise than that. I go, ugh. Officer Parks. You must be Professor for New Guys. Hope you can help. Gives the power list. Talks about what I've already talked about and showed you here. You can rearrange your bar or bars to your heart's delight. I'll ask about available missions. Things are getting out of control. Talk to Professor Hoffman and Lieutenant McCready. There's Professor Hoffman. He's going to talk about conning. This is an old game feature. Con is short for consider. I was informed last night it goes all the way back to the MUDs. Anyone who's played an MMO, a lot of times the creature names will have different colors depending on how difficult they are. That is called conning them. Is what you, if you look at them and check and see how difficult they are. Gray, they're vastly inferior. Green, gray give you no XP. Green, you should be able to kick their butts. Blue will be a little bit weaker than you. White is at your level. Yellow is tougher. Orange is way tougher. Red is probably going to kick your ass. And purple, very, very bad indeed. There are also 3 tiers of critters. There's minions, lieutenants, and bosses. Lieutenants are a little bit stronger. And so if you had a minion, a lieutenant, and a boss of the same level, they would con as white, orange, and purple, I think. No, white, yellow, and orange. So we'll talk to McCready. And he talks about targeting. So it is a tab target game, but you can also click on the mobs, and you hit the appropriate number to fire off the appropriate power, as you would expect. And he wants me to defeat 2 contaminated, and the closest contaminated are over here. You know, we've got the fence separating us from them. These police drones will shock anyone who isn't a hero like me. So let's get out our gun. Hit him with a tranq dart. Shoot him and hit him with our fist. Now, as a point of interest, something different from most contemporary MMORPGs, there are no auto attacks. Every attack you make is a button press. Now, someone pointed out last night, something I was not aware of, I believe it was Control, left click, will turn a skill into auto cast. I think that is less about offensive skills, and that is more about buff skills. So in your group, you'd be auto casting your buffs for all the rest of the characters around you. I do not know that for a fact, however. Let me go back and talk to him. Be introduced to a new contact. Here he's telling us about hit points and endurance. Up here in the upper right, those are our hit points. Is the green line. The blue line is endurance. The purple line is experience points. And in between is this sort of flashing reddish one. That is a special mechanic for various classes. In this case, it's opportunity. We have an opportunity, means we can use an ability that will do extra damage, for instance. A number of the classes or archetypes have different sort of bar here. I will ask about a new contact. I'm off to see Sergeant Hex. Wait, did he not give it to me? Leave. Yeah, not sure why he still has the arrow over his head. Maybe that's just an NPC of specific note. Sergeant Hicks. Hey there, Professor. 4 new guys. When I was a hero, I learned a thing or two. You defeat a foe, you may receive an inspiration in your inspiration tray. This is the inspiration tray. Inspirations are short-term buffs. You can choose when to turn them on. So there's damage buff, immediate health buff, endurance buff, so on. Ask him about the missions. He's going to give us some inspirations. There we go. We have 2. We have one that's a big damage buff. That's the red kabam looking icon. And green with a big plus, green cross. Oh, healing. And now I want me to defeat 4 more contaminated. I punch him. I shoot him. I punch him again. And hit him with a tranq dart. There's 4 of them now. I will tell you, there is a hidden achievement. If you defeat 50 of them, if my memory serves correct, 50 of the contaminated in this area over here, I think you get a title, Decontaminator. It's been a long time since I've done it. I don't remember the specific title, but I'm definitely correct that there at least used to be a hidden achievement there. Good job. I have been given a couple of enhancements. Or 1. Well, actually, here you can look at your powers. This is above the power tray. Your inspirations. Normally you want to keep the inspirations up. You can check salvage and recipes. Those are for crafting. And enhancements. You'll note we have circles and all these skills. We will get additional slots, circles, to add to them later. And what that will do is, for instance, this right here is a Talisman of the Initiate, usable by all origins. Remember, my origin was technology, I think? Science? One of them. And it boosts the strength of one of your powers, increasing the damage by 33 1/3%. So right now, this does, let's say, 10 points. Well, now it's going to do 13 1/3 points. The base value was 11.02 average damage, and now it's 14.69. So I'm doing an extra 3.5 points of damage when I plug people. The enhancement system is where you get to tune your character. You know, you'll be picking specific skills. You have choices to make there, but you'll also have to choose. So, for instance, do you want to do more damage? Do you want to do damage more often? Do you want more range? Do you want your skills to take less endurance? Those sorts of choices. Eventually, you can have up to, I believe, 6 slots. And a lot of choices, a lot of various types. A lot of them will not apply to your character. They'll all get stacked up here in up to 7 tabs. And you can sell the ones you're not going to use or that are too low level. You can sell those to a vendor for the in-game currency of renown. Learn about enhancements. Ah, that's right. I just told you all about them. You can also combine them. I didn't tell you all about them. If you have... Hello, Nodnox. If you have, for instance, a level 4 enhancement, or say a level 2 enhancement, and you get a level 4, what you can do is you can put the level 4 on top of the level 2, as long as they're the same type, and there'll be a chance they combine. If they don't combine, the higher one stays. If they do combine, the higher one gets increased by a level. Be introduced to a new contact, please. Coyote. Okay. Looks like you're learning your stuff, Professor for New Guys. Let's finish this with one last task I'd like you to undertake. Give me a mission. Doing some digging. Spoke with Dr. Miller. Says he can create a cure. Needs me to go in there, clear out any enemies I find, and find the formula. Pretty simple and straightforward comic book stuff. Defeat the bunch of bad guys. Get the magic formula. Profit. Now I'll turn off sprint in here. as it is a toggle, and anytime a toggle's running, it's reducing your endurance. We don't want our endurance to run out because we already have a toggle running for our defense. You'll note these guys are one level higher than me. They're minions. They show up con as level 2 in yellow. Now, you keep in mind, every time I'm doing one of these attacks, I'm pressing a button. This is a friendly person. Flower Knight. She's rooting for me. Thank you for saving me, Professor for New Guys. Those thugs just overpowered me. I will help you clear out this place of contaminated thugs as thanks. You can hear humming right there. Whenever there's something you need to interact with in a mission, it's not just visible, there are audio cues as well. Now these guys, well, note, I'm not, despite the fact I'm shooting them, I'm not killing them. I'm a superhero. I'm just disabling them. We're going to go with that. Just disabling them. Also, they dance really badly. Where do you think you're going? Alright, we have defeated them all. And here's the clicky. And it's a clicky. Exactly. They'll be out on patrol. Here comes the music. It's heroic. It's coming. There we go. That's the end of mission music for a hero. You'll note I have all these buffs now in the upper right-hand corner. When you level up, you get these buffs for, I think, a minute, which are the equivalent of taking a very large inspiration, and they make you much, much tougher. Sometimes it can be to your advantage to carefully, in a mission, if you're close to leveling, before you get to the boss, to get to the point where you're just a little bit shy of leveling, hit the level, get the buff, run and fight the boss. Now you know, I no longer have, on the radial dial up here, I no longer have a pointer to the NPC. So the way to get that back is to click on Contact, click on Coyote, and he appears on the guide. I am also strolling. I turn back on Sprint, and now, guess what? I'm sprinting. Now, once we talk to Coyote, we'll get teleported immediately to downtown. Fantastic. I'll take the formula to Dr. Mueller. He notes that up here now I have an up arrow. It shows I'm level 2. I have the up arrow saying that I have not trained myself up to level 2. Hey, great. I hope it'll be helpful. I'm trying to hit all the basic points. I'm sure I'll miss a bunch, but I'm trying. So we're off to visit Ms. Liberty in Atlas Park. And that is the end of the tutorial. It's pretty straightforward. I have enough experience to level up. They also give you an option here. If you're a new character and you want help, you can click Help Me. If you want to assist other people, you click Helper. In essence, I think all it does is it puts an icon over your name. But no, I'm just going to run missions and blab at you poor people. Definitely busier than it was last night. A timer on power. On which power? Right now I have 2 powers on. They are toggled on right now. One is sprint. Why do I not have a time? Oh, there is. Is there an option? Is there? I can't remember if there's an option or not to put numbers over the skills for the cooldown time. I've never had felt that I needed it, but there probably is. But I'm not certain if there is. I need to talk to Ms. Liberty, who's standing here in the middle. It is, okay. I need to train to a new level of power. I also gain fitness and rest all the time. And now, here we can choose high pain tolerance. I don't think we need more defense right now. Let's go with the case of buckshot, a cone attack, allowing me to hit multiple mobs at once. You get a new power, at least initially, every 2 levels. On the odd number levels, you instead get to increase the number of sockets that you have on your skills. Away I go. I need to talk to Jonathan St. John Smythe. But before I do that, I'm going to show you a secret. This is the pay-to-win field agent. This was an NPC who, if memory serves, after the game went free to play, if you were a subscriber, this field agent can provide you with a bunch of benefits for having been a subscriber at the time. They've got merchandise, specials, all kinds of stuff. But one thing in particular I think is definitely worthwhile knowing is to go show me your wares. There are prestige enhancements. There are 5 of these. These will level up with you, and therefore it is worth claiming all 5 of these. You can only claim 1 of each. Go to enhancements, manage them. We now have a second skill here. For now, we're going to just slot that there. Actually, no. We're going to show the combining. So we have a tier 1 or a level 1 there, and we have a level 1 here. If you drag it to here, it'll lock in place. If you drag it to here, where you have an identical or they don't have to be the same level, but if you have a similar enhancement there, and you click on that, you can either reset, or you can click combine. In this particular case, it's 100% chance it's surely going to combine, and it'll become a level 2. And that's a success. Now, for these, they all have a slight secondary side effect. Let's see which is which here. One of these has a knockdown, occasional knockdown. That's psionic damage. That's the knockdown. The rest of the powers aren't that important. We'll go ahead and slot this one. As I said, these level up with you. So that's an advantage to having one of these on your first 5 damaging skills. It's because they'll always be of the right level. This right here is a level 2 in, I believe 3 levels above and below you can use. So when I hit level 6, this will no longer have any effect at all. So it has reduced effect as you level over it, and when you hit 4 levels over it, they become worthless. You have to slot another one on top of it to make it. There's no need to worry about them. They sit there doing nothing until you slot something on top of it, at which point they're simply deleted. Let me move these. The other thing they have here is temporary powers. I mean, there's a wide variety of stuff they have here. But these are the ones that's most important. It's in temporary powers, buffs, double experience points. This will speed up your leveling and just make, initially at least, the game feel a little quicker, faster to get your powers, and so on. You can buy multiple iterations, and it will last until they run out. So I'm going to buy 3. I won't get 6 times XP. I'll get 3 hours of double XP. The only negative is you do not gain any influence. Normally, if you beat up a street thug, you might get 5 influence. Influence, or renown, whichever it is the in-game currency for the most part. So, because at low level you get so little of it, I think it's worth doing without the influence, the small amount of influence, to double your XP. So, there. I now have 3 hours of it. Over here is a vendor for whom you can sell any regular enhancements that you have. You can also buy enhancements from them of a certain level. These are all level 5 enhancements. Again, to close the window, you have to click on the little red X. You have to click on the door, and then you will enter. Welcome to City Hall. Again, my contact is unselected. There we go. If you don't see anything on your screen as to where to go and you don't know where to go, remember to check your contacts and any existing missions. He is a store, so he also sells inspirations. For the basic ones, cost 50 of the influence each, and I'm currently will not be getting any influence, which is fine by me anyway. But you may, in your first time, decide you want to be able to buy these. Keep in mind these last briefly. They either heal you right up for a respite or give you endurance for a catch of breath. The others buff you for 30 seconds, I think. We'll ask about a mission. Welcome to Seraph. Scientific experimentation, research, and application to paranormal humans. Okay, that's not a bad acronym, actually. There's an elderly lady named Iris Parker who witnessed the assaults. I'd like you to talk to Ms. Parker about the zombie attacks. Zombie attacks. That is a follow. Dusty Yankee. You get my one and only spiel. Welcome to my humble little stream of misfunction, malfunction, dysfunction, and frequently complete and total unfunction. You are most welcome indeed, and thank you very, very much for the follow. I hope your Friday evening is kicking ass. It was not a big money maker. It was profitable at the time it was shut down. It was shut down by NCSoft at the time. Oh, me too. It was shut down at NCSoft. A lot of people didn't understand because it was... the black outline is... go to... Where's menu? Up there. Menu, options, graphics and audio, scroll down. I have the cell shaders turned on. It's listed as an experimental graphics setting. I don't think it was ever officially rolled in. It was sort of a testing thing in the game. I just prefer it to the regular non-cell shaded. But that's definitely a personal taste thing. So, for the game shutdown, the reason was, especially Asian companies, they place a strong value on streamlining and simplification of their businesses, generally speaking. And in this case, I think it was their only US-based game at the time. And so all of the infrastructure and personnel and everything that were associated with that, keeping an eye on the game, managing from afar, all that stuff was simply decided to be not worth the relatively small amount of profit they were getting from it. And so they shut it down just to simplify. And that's not that unusual in a lot of businesses, but I think especially amongst game companies. If something is taking up any significant chunk of resources and not delivering significant chunks of money, they'll cut it. And it's not that uncommon actually in business at all. That does not mean that we didn't squeal about it like stuck pigs when NCSoft did it. I do want to emphasize once again, congratulations and thanks to the homecoming team for getting the approval from NCSoft to become an official supported, or not supported, but official accepted server. I also want to say thank you to the people at NCSoft, because there were people working at NCSoft to make this happen too. They had to justify it. They had to, convince people up the food chain that this was worth doing. And it took some time, some effort, and eventually they got it solved. And my hat's off to NCSoft. Well done. Now, WildStar. WildStar. They just got the blessing yesterday, or announced it yesterday. And that's why I'm kind of doing this, I don't want to call it tutorial for the game, but sort of a starter's guide and introduction, is because I figure there are going to be a lot of people who, they heard about the game, they knew there was a private server, but private servers, ick. Which is an understandable attitude to take, but it's no longer a private server ick. It's now a publicly available, sanctioned server. And I need to talk to Iris. Hi, Iris. Walking back from the grocery store, sewer horrible creature appeared. Its flesh was rotting away. Okay, I need to defeat all the zombies in the sewer. Why does there always have to be sewers? Now, if you're not familiar, after the game was canceled, or at least I should say after it was announced that it was being canceled, somebody in a position of authority at Paragon Games got a copy of the source code. And that was leaked out to someone they knew and trusted, and a private server was created and essentially kept, for the most part, secret for, I believe it was 7 years. Imagine having dozens or even more players keeping a private server quiet for 7 years. But they did. I mean, twice I heard rumor of a private server of City Heroes, and I poo-pooed it. I said it was bullshit. And I was saying it was bullshit, and then basically the way it worked was sort of like, if you'd asked me on Monday, I'd have said, yeah, I heard a rumor twice over the last 7 years. It's bullshit. There's nothing. And then on Wednesday, it's real. They've got evidence. Here's video. It's real. It's actually a thing. Maybe I was wrong. And on Friday, I was playing. That's how fast it came. The only real settings I have done anything different with, menu here, that I can remember is the cell shader. The rest of the stuff, I don't think I've even, messed around with the key mapping or any of the controls. The only other thing I've done is down here, and I showed how I did it, which was create a second hotbar and then rearrange them. Also, I've had to note several times, because I want to make sure people are aware of it. It's easier to open a lot of windows than it is to close them. Close them, I think can you? Yeah, you see, can we? I don't know. Yeah, okay. You can either go back to the menu to open and close it, or you have a little red X. But I will scroll through this real fast since you asked. It's possible I made some changes. I just don't think so. So, here's the general settings. controls. Key mapping. I'm not sure how readable this will be. And you can't quite make out the bottom stuff here because my big fat head's in the way. Graphics and audio. There are also controls for the cell shader itself. So you can play some more games with that. I have outlines on as an example. And then in-game windows. And as I said, the only thing that I would like them to change would be to add a keybind for close windows and give us a chance to have escape close windows. Here is another little hint. If you're a new player and you're feeling a little overwhelmed, and sometimes you can lose a lot early on if you're not paying attention, if you pull too many mobs, if you panic, Lord knows I can do that. There is a dynamic control you can reach down here at the talk bubble icon. Quick chat. You go here to set notoriety and adjust level, and you go to -1. That will set all of the dungeons and instances default levels to below you by 1 level. You can adjust them up if you want, but just for ease of play, especially early on, you may want to adjust them down by 1, just to make it a little easier on a new player in particular. The foul odor you smell could not possibly be from sewage alone. Oh, really? I don't know. I would expect that sewage can get pretty intolerable. But we're looking for the undead, and I will also note the undead are a particularly unpleasant mob type. The primary reason for that is that the base... Would you cut it out? I'm trying to talk to these people. Now that was a lieutenant. So he was a lot tougher. I need to move. This is basically a rest button. You'll note I'm down about 1/3 of life. You heal, if at all, only very slowly. So I'm going to click on rest, and it takes a couple seconds to kick in. And my health will start ticking up very quickly. There it is. And then you unclick rest. The reason the undead, the Vazalok, as the faction is called, named after the Dr. Frankenstein alike, Dr. Vazalok, is a lot of the mobs spit acid, and therefore their acid does damage, but it also has a damage over time effect. So they can be particularly annoying. I have to find Alex Carter. They are the Vazalok are definitely the hardest of the mobs that you're likely to run into early on. See, he puked on me. All right, we got Alex taken care of, but now it changed. We have to defeat all the zombies in the sewer. Now you want to align yourself up, so like that. In that case, I lined up those 3 mobs, and they all took damage from my shotgun blast. The shotgun blast, which I'm about to use again, is a cone attack, and placement matters rather a lot, actually. So again, I'm going to try to line these guys up. There we go. We've completed the mission, and we can just exit. It's one of the nice things, like a comic book. When the issue's done, you just put it away. You don't have to read it backwards to get out. Turn back on our sprint. Now, when the game originally came out, you couldn't get a cape. You had to be a certain level to get a cape. You had to prove you were hero enough to earn your cape. And you couldn't get a travel skill, a real one, until level 14. At level 6, you could get, like, hover, and then at level 14, you could get fly. They changed that, I don't remember exactly when, and now you can get a full travel skill at level 6. And it is a huge improvement. Also, you can now get a cape at the very beginning as well. I understand what they were going for. You know, they wanted it to feel substantial and important when you earned your cape. Contact, right? I have to talk to him again. And before you got your superhero, super movement skill. But I think the game, it's very important to have the cape available for your character concept beginning and get a movement skill earlier so that you feel super powered. Ask about available missions. As a new hero, you should know that those who have some before you. I think you have to learn about the fallen heroes of Paragon City. I'm going to be heading out to Atlas Park. Let's check and see. Not quite there yet. I'm going to have to read Atlas's plaque. It's a clicky. Statue commemorates the heroic death of the mighty Atlas on December 7th, 1941. The forces of the original Fifth Column launched a surprise attack on Paragon City. Atlas single-handedly fought back a large group of advancing Fifth Column soldiers and prevented them from gaining a foothold beyond Independence Park. His brave sacrifice held the area until the Freedom Phalanx arrived and drove back the invaders. And we go back and turn this in and go on to the next mission. Hero Corps has pulled some strings, and they're asking for all the data we've collected on the Vasilok. Need someone to deliver this disc to Henry Peter Wong. He'll see that Hero Corps gets the info. Right. So you'll want to keep in mind it is an old school game. So it's got a lot of the charm of an old school game, but it also has some of the, well, clunkiness, maybe. So be expected that you're not going to have all of the nice, polished, smooth edges that you would expect from a modern MMO, or at least would hope for from a modern MMO. Defeat Lab Leader and his crew, but first, we just hit level 3. That's that sound you heard. So we'll head over to Ms. Liberty. Claim the new level of power. And what do we get? We get 2 more slots. So we're going to first boost up both of our damaging skills. this is the one that has the knockdown. It is. So every once in a while when I punch somebody or shoot somebody, it'll knock them down. Cyber Jarl, or Cyber Jarl, is raiding with a party of 4. Good evening, everyone. Thank you very, very much for the raid. Welcome, ladies, gentlemen, heroes, heroines. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm going to go out on a limb and say you were playing City of Heroes. Regardless, thank you very much for the raid, and welcome to all of you. I'm Lens. I've been doing gaming for 50 years and computer gaming for 40 years. I'm an old hand at this sort of thing. It is going pretty well. And, not satisfied with a mere raid of 4, I believe it's pronounced Greblaha, or Greblaja, has raided with a party of 19. Back-to-back raids. Thank you very, very much for the raid. Plural. Raids. Plural. Again, I'm Lens. I've been playing board games for 50 plus years and computer games for 40 plus years. I have been at this a while. You are all welcome. I hope you're all having kick-ass Friday nights. I am enjoying the now officially sanctioned City of Heroes. I'm trying to do sort of a introductory, not a tutorial, sort of a walkthrough of how the game works. From creating the character, showing some of the options, some of the limitless options in the character creator, walking through some of the little bits and pieces of the game systems as we run into them. I hope everyone is having an awesome night and ready for a little superheroism. Well, I'll do the best I can. 010101 has followed. You get my one and only spiel. Welcome to my humble little stream of misfunction, malfunction, dysfunction, and frequently complete and total unfunction. You're most welcome indeed, and thank you very, very much for the follow. And the same holds true for Westish and Cyber Jarl or Cyber Jarl. I would always say Jarl, but it's probably actually pronounced Jarl. Thanks, guys, and welcome. Welcome to all of you. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I may not have the answers, but at least I can lie in a really convincing fashion. Cyber Jarl? I expected. Once more into the sewer. More Vazalok. The Vaz, as I was saying earlier, are the least loved of the early enemy types because they do more damage than all the rest of them. The population on, I think, all of the servers, I know they said they're not planning to merge any of the current existing servers. They are looking at possibly merging in with some of the other the other servers outside of the Homecoming server cluster. There are a number of servers out there. Homecoming has 5 in the cluster. I believe 4 are in Canada and 1 is in Europe. Yeah, the Vaz are the least loved of the enemies. Well, I mean, it's not a new MMO, but I would say that because ever since they became publicly available, which was, I think, 4 years ago, they have no trouble meeting their monthly donation goals to run the servers, and that's running 5 servers. And certainly if you pick the most crowded of the servers, which I think is Excelsior, I would say there's no danger of running out of people, realistically. I mean, the population here has been pretty solid for 4 years. And another raid. That's 3 raids this evening. This is, oh my god, the Hot Mess Express. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good name. Welcome to another raid. Hot Mess Express, pretty good. Okay, so Excelsior actually had a queue earlier. I am on Everlasting. is where I play most. I have, yeah, I probably have a character or two on other servers. On this server is obviously my main in that I have 40 characters. 40 characters. Graybeard, AOT. Well, as a Whitebeard, I'm certainly going to welcome a Graybeard. Welcome to my... Yep, follow. Welcome to my humble stream of misfunction, malfunction, dysfunction, and frequently complete and total unfunction. You're most welcome indeed, and thank you very, very much for the follow. Yeah, only 40, I know. Well, I play other games too, you know? And really, once you've come up with a character named Flex McGristle, really, do you need to create any more? There is a strict character limit, you should know. On every server, you cannot have more than 1,000 characters, so keep that in mind. I don't know, Cyber Jarl's pretty good. Oh, you think you can beat Flex McGristle? I'm really proud of my bio on him, too. One of the things you can do, I skipped on this character, is you can write a bio. It's not the most elegant of input and output, in that it has sometimes trouble scrolling if you're trying to read somebody's. 500? I take it back. My ass isn't just kicked. My ass is annihilated. That's insanity. I approve. No, those are perfectly fine. At least you didn't, you know, face roll the keyboard to get a name. I have 2 hostages. Along with the Vazalok, I also hate the underground maps. Like this one. Well, since a Jarl is a leader, I suggest creating a Cyber Jarl character and making them a mastermind. Probably of robots would be the way to go. Oh, look, it's cadavers. I'm certain they won't stand up and start fighting. No, actually, I'm not certain of that at all. Don't spit on me. You spit on me. Where do you think you're going to? No, they do not have the original accounts. I have recreated a number of my characters here. 1 or 2 I was not able to recreate because the names were taken, sadly. But hey, I got Antimatter. I got Kandiru. I really dislike the underground maps. Fortunately, there aren't a bunch of these. Did I just do a lap? No, not yet. Pardon me, guys. Have you seen any... Oh, I'm sorry. I shot first. I hear a humming. I found a clue! Mind you, I'm still looking for like 2 hostages, I think. Right? Yeah, 2 hostages. And the problem is sometimes in these undergrounds, if you don't find them, they're really tough to find. So I dislike the Vazalok, and I detest the underground maps. I've always hated them. Also, they can have multiple levels. Aha! Here we go. Oh, rather more of them than I was expecting. Pardon me, guys. I have rescued a hostage. That guy shot me with a crossbow! Well, most importantly, Greedo didn't shoot last. Yeah, the layer room where there's like 3 or 4 layers. Oh my god. I know I'm a crabby old man. I think with some good reason. All right. Presumably up here then. Did I miss my turn off? No, not yet. Back there maybe. We'll see. Yeah, I like the cell shading. I can understand why people don't. I like it. Maybe I developed a taste from playing Champions online. Yeah, looking for one of the objectives that don't make the humming sound. Yeah. Ah, okay, the bass, it'll crash if you try and edit the bass. Yeah, I haven't done anything with the bass, at least not recently. But thank you for the heads up. Another follow. This is Julia. Really? I'm going to guess Julia has been on Twitch a very, very long time to get the name of Julia. Welcome to my humble little stream of misfunction, malfunction, dysfunction, and frequently complete and total unfunction. You're most welcome indeed, and thank you very, very much for the follow. All right, come on. They got to be in here. They're going to be in here? I hope they're going to be in here. Kaboom. Got him. Thank you. Thank you for the lurk. Thank you for the unlurk. Thank you for the follow. My inspirations are full. I'm full of inspiration, that's for sure. Well, okay. I missed a turn-off back here. Still looking for that last bloody hostage. I missed here. No, okay. Not here. Nobody's hiding in here. Nope, nobody's hiding in there. All right, we're back. Oh, it's everybody. Kaboom. Stop spitting on people. Did you grow up in a barn? There must still be one alive because he's still standing there. Ah, there he is. Hi there. Dump-a-da-bump, bump. It was a lot of zombies. Fortunately. Hero. Another follow. Grandpa Tech. Well, if I'd had a kid and the kid had had a kid, that's a name that would apply to me as well. Welcome to my humble little stream of misfunction, malfunction, dysfunction, and occasionally complete and total unfunction. You're most welcome indeed, and thank you very, very much for the follow. I hope everyone's Friday night is going as well as mine. Again, if you show up and you don't have anything on your compass, check your contacts and missions. Click on them, and once again, you'll have the pointer in the map. Ouch. I took 2 points of damage. So my intent is to do a few days of streaming this on the same character, leveling them up trying to show the sort of important steps on the way. Eventually, I'd like to get this one to level 12, at which point I believe the crafting tutorial opens up, and I'd like to walk people through that, as that's a lot of the sort of most complicated stuff, or the stuff that plays differently than most of us would be used to in an MMO. I'm trying to cover the stuff that isn't obvious, because being an old school game, a lot of stuff in it plays very, very differently than what we're used to. Also, a little side note, where you log out and leave your character matters. If you leave your character in to log out here in City Hall, for instance, they gain a buff. I don't remember exactly what the buff is to. There are a number of different buffs you can get if you log out in a specific location for a period of time. I don't remember if there's an XP buff or not. I think there is, but I'm not certain. But there are buffs to various stats and stuff, depending on where you log out. Kind of nice, sort of like what you're doing with your time off. Let us ask about available missions. Several wealthy citizens have disappeared in the last couple of days. That's hardly unusual in this town. But at this time, no ransom notes have been delivered. I want you to investigate these disappearances. Professor for New Guys, I have a bad feeling those people are in serious trouble. Yeah, it's instead of just being an XP buff, it is a something else buff, though. Might be a buff to the influence you get, which is the currency in the game. Let's check the enhancements. All right, those are all. Yeah, let's see. Mind over body enhances defense buffs. No, that doesn't line up there. You can see some of these are not of the appropriate origin, so I can't use them. I'll just end up selling those. This one can be used. It's only a tier 1, though. Still, we'll socket it anyway. It enhances damage resistance, therefore defense. We'll head back out. And we'll go to the field operative here, and we'll sell any of the enhancements that we are not currently using or can't use. And now my influence is 1260. And the most of the inspiration buffs that were available inside were 50 each. So I would be able to refill this for just a fraction of the cost of the stuff I just sold. Next, rescue more missing citizens here in lovely and scenic Atlas Park. Right there you see the monorail, and that's how you move between maps in the game. This is the area of Atlas Park. You can see these are the areas where I have been to on the map, where it's light. There are various, indicators for various NPCs or places, things you can do. This is the full city map. We're currently here in Atlas Park. These other maps have various zone ranges and various layouts. They don't look like city. They may look like a terrible ruin. They may be a dump. All kinds of various different kinds. So that is the area map as opposed to the current zone map. And also, to reiterate, one of the things you can do to improve the look and feel of the game for you is you can always click and drag any of the UI elements. Click on the menu bar part and you can move it around. So generally what I do is I move this one down here and this one down here, so I have my stats near the center of the map. the target stats near the center of the viewport. But I don't want to move them and then have someone check the video later or hop into the stream and not understand why it looks different. Missing citizens. Sick laughter echoes in the distance. Well, sick laughter, that's not the undead. That sounds like one of the gangs. No, it's the undead. Oh, he's carrying a body. That's nice. See, the bad thing about why Vazalok are so awful is their spit. They do damage and have a dot. I'm going to take a brief kneel down. Catch my breath. Kill an undead. It's so tiring. Alright, I'm fully healed again. Pop back up. Re-killing the undead. Well, they all deserved it. Did I miss? I keep hitting escape, and nothing happens. Because the escape button doesn't do anything, you dumbass. Oh, yeah. That's a level. That is an automatic heal up, and also the big buffs that'll last for, I think, a minute. Clue found. 2 more people to rescue. So I want to move while I've got the buff. Because when you've got the buff, you want to take advantage of it. And murder as much stuff as possible. Because they're all bad guys. And the buff is up. Oh. Ba-ba-da-bum-bum. They said they wanted to cure me. They wanted to turn me into a zombie. Well, I mean, I don't want to judge. You might call that curing of the potential of a painful death. I mean, if you're already dead, you can't die, can you? That is not dead which can eternal lie, and with strange eons even death may die. Yeah, there's nothing healthy about the undead. The Vaz are... I would say they are the creepiest. Absolutely. Back to Jonathan St. John Smythe. Not at all Wesley Wyndham Price. And we talk with them. Hi, how you doing? Another mission. I just got a tip that some men calling themselves the Disciples of Vazalok are planning a conference in a secondary sewer section. Back in the sewer? While their exact aims are unclear, it seems likely they're linked to these biomechanical zombies that have been terrorizing the populace. Will you investigate? Yes, I will. Fine, whatever. Most of the Vaz aren't thinking. The Dr. Vazalok, clearly, he's thinking. The others, I'm not convinced. But we are going to go out. We hit level 4. As you can see up here, we have the up arrow telling us we have training waiting for us. See all these people surrounded by circle? They all have... There's someone here who is a support character with force field. And his force field is supporting everyone else around. And now we all got buffed with a speed boost. Important. I've unlocked power, access to a new power set. Oh, it's power. It is level 4, not level 6. Concealment, experimentation. The ones that are important here, and I had forgotten, I thought it was level 6. Level 4, you get access to a movement skill, and you will want one. Flying is good, obviously. Leaping, I'll get back to. Sorcery gives you teleportation and flight. Just not quite as good as flight or teleportation. Teleportation obviously gives you teleportation. Leaping. See, it used to be at level 6 you'd choose one of these two, and it wasn't until level 14 you could choose the actual travel skill. But they've changed that now. It's available at level 4. And super jump is the most perfect implementation of a superhero skill, or possibly any skill ever. Every game needs super jump. And I now have super jump. We'll turn off sprint. We'll turn on super jump. What is super jump, you might say to yourself? Well, it's... Dun, dun, dun! It's jumping like a superhero. It's the best. Yes, super speed is fun, but it has navigation issues. You are absolutely correct. I actually meant to say that about the skills. Teleportation is good, but it requires the most management. And it's basically you teleport from place to place to place, usually up in the air, and you need to keep control of it, and you need to hit the button every few seconds. So it requires constant attention. Super speed is awesome, but it can make getting through stuff like this, the stairs up, difficult. Super jump and flight are the most flexible. Flight is the most flexible of all. Super jump, I believe, is a little faster and is just stupidly fun. They are all workable. Yeah, you can work with them and you can learn, and that's true. You can also combine skills. But at least for a brand new player, I would recommend either super jump or flight. Flight is probably the most going to function the way you would expect it to most. You'll note I still have the force field bubble around me. It's a long-lasting buff. I will now turn off super jump. Yeah, super jump is just so much fun. If you're a fan of superheroes at all, basically in a couple of minutes you can do, like, you see that building way over there? You know, they've got the fire escapes. I'm going to land on that fire escape of that second window in on the 3rd floor. Watch. Boing! And you can stick the landing and land right where you're aiming once you get good at it. It is just so much fun and such a satisfying game system. Now, the Mortificator is a lieutenant, but he's a couple levels under me. Notice I still have the force field up. Long-lasting buff. That is a lot of cadavers, so... Stop spitting on me! Back in the day, I would use super jump to climb up the skyscrapers and Steel Canyon and just hang out there. Yeah, well, I mean, my standard description for how it worked in the game was when you first got super jump, everyone would spend the next half hour doing nothing but super jumping. I think flight is the most universally useful, and super jump is the most fun. All the characters have super speed. Yeah, certainly if you know what you're doing. I'm never that good at super speed. But I have played enough of it to know that it has a lot of advantages. Well, my Sega Genesis games are in a box somewhere over there. Rescue the hostages. Learn the purpose of the conference. And that included, of course, Sonic. Yeah, I've been playing these. I bought my first computer in 79, I think. 79 or 80, an Apple II Plus. And I bought it to play games on. Explicitly for that purpose. The only Nintendo I've ever had was the SNES, Super Nintendo. They had the, if memory serves, they had the big rotational 3D tech. That was the big addition they got. And that was very cool, and that got my attention. I need to take a rest because I'm at half health. I'm going to take a kneel down. Catch my wind. Pass my wind. Break my wind. No, just catch it. Big floppies, Oregon Trail, yep. Had the NES, the SNES, N64, Game Boy, GameCube. By that time, mostly a PC gamer, yeah. Well, for me, I started with Apple II Plus, got PCs when most of the good games started to really come out primarily on PC. Mind you, Apple II was still perfectly feasible for many years. But I didn't stop there. I had an Amiga. I had a Neo Geo. I had a Jaguar. I've always been a nut for games, and particularly computer games. All right. Who's next? Who wants some? Oh, and he still spit on me. You little... I'm not a fan of the Vasilok. Just... not a fan. Oh, crap. I pulled too many. This is going to get bad. Maybe quick. Oh, that's some timely action right there. I didn't realize I was that close. Well, that certainly simplifies matters a great deal. Now we just wade in and murder more of these guys. Nice timing, me. I have to defeat all Vazalok in this order. I hate defeat all missions in every game ever. Thank you. IBM back in the early 90s. Parents got me for homework. 33 megahertz turbo button. Get to a whopping 66. Yeah, most of the time in most of those boxes, that button wasn't actually connected to anything. Most of the time. Mission completed. We'll turn back on our super jump and just exit. 386DX. Yeah, 386. Yeah, I remember the days of extended EMM and XMM, I think it was. Extended memory and extended memory. Expanded and extended memory. And I could never keep track which was which. Oh, super jump. It's glorious. It's simply glorious. I have done enough work with Jonathan St. John Smythe. Sorry, Jonathan St. John Smythe, now that he'll accept my phone calls. Thanks for breaking up that horrible conference. It's terrifying to contemplate the depths this Vazalok has sunk to. Human experimentation, animating the dead. He must be a madman indeed. Mission. Contacts. We have no contacts. Inactive. Call him. Do you have? He has no other missions for me. Seriously? I should be getting a mission contact already. Well, I guess we can use one of the other NPCs in there. Oh, I dinged. Train up the level. Let me proc it so that I get a call from Twin Shot, I think. Train to a new level of power. I've never seen that thing before. He's pretty. Yeah, there are a few of us around. Yeah, I'm not sure what it is. It's pretty terrifying, actually. Got to train up. We're going to throw 2 more points into our primary attacks. And there is the message from Twin Shot, so I did have to train up to 5 to activate that. Ah, the Rularoo pets, lore pets. It's a cool looking one, that's for sure. So when you get the message from Twin Shot, it opens up a new storyline. This is a storyline that was brought into the game to sort of supplement, because a lot of the game mechanics aren't really explained to this point in the game. And these missions will send you to locations where you'll learn about some of the game mechanics, like the equivalent of the auction house and so on. We will contact oh, they're already on the menu. Already on the compass. 50 is showing off the incarnate powers, yeah. Like I said, I have 40 characters on the server, but none of them higher than level 26, I think. Why would I want to grind out a level for 3 hours when I could instead create a whole new character? Hi, Twin Shot. She's really annoying. I will hang out with them. I will note we're going to be heading to their headquarters. And we go to their headquarters, both of their headquarters, multiple times. And every time we go there, it is either invaded or has just been invaded. I'm an altaholic in all games. My most streamed game ever, and the one I'm most likely to be streaming on any given night, is Guild Wars 2. I have 36 characters in Guild Wars 2 on my main account. The alt account has another 10 character slots. So objects you need to interact with are clickies, and you have to click them. Old school, guys. Old school. My name is Professor for New Guys. Twinshot sent me. And it's Twinshot. Trying to be funny. Unsuccessfully. That's right, I'm Professor for New Guys. Because I'm here to help out the new guys. Elevators. Again, clicky. Proton. Again, I'm skipping through all of the stuff, the story stuff, because reading it would take a long time, and I would get tired and a sore throat. Talk to Proton. I thought I did. Unusual. Apologize for disturbing you. I take it this is that person. Let me get back to work. Okay, it's Flambeau. I'll let you get back to work to close. We'll talk to Flambeau, who's a narcissist. So some of the superheroes that you'll run into are annoying. Is Dillo in here? No, Dillo's upstairs. Another elevator ride up. Play EQ2 these days? Well, there's no shortage of options in EQ2. I have about a dozen characters, maybe 30 in SWTOR. SWTOR is, I think, still my second most streamed game, and I have probably 24 who are 50 plus. Not all of my characters in Guild Wars 2 are at the cap. There's probably 4 or 5 that aren't. We're meeting Dillo, who's an alien with weird speaking things. Return to the entrance and help Twinshot because we've been invaded by Arachnos. I'm not sure how easy it is to respec. But you shouldn't have to worry about making a broken bad character. I'm not sure. I assume they're talking City of Heroes. You can buy resource specs. Okay, yeah, that's right. Now, even though we're in here at +1 level to the quest level, you'll note there is a +1 level lieutenant and a +2 level lieutenant here. Free respec when you hit 10. Yeah, run trials to get them. That's it. And you can buy a recipe for respecing. Right. That sounds consistent with my memory. My memory banks. Alright, well, we got to him. Now we need to take care of the orange difficulty dude. But he cannot stand much of a chance against my gunfire. Note, my recharge speed was way slowed down there because he webbed me. And the web has the effect of rooting me and really slowing me. Thank you for clearing up the respec stuff. I appreciate that. Talk to Grim. Hi, Grim. He's Grim. He's a guy with a wolf head. The bad guys there are Arachnos. They are sort of the overarching bad guy villain flavor in City of Villains. Out on the Rogue Isles, I believe it's called. He's in charge. That is Lord Arachnos himself. And over here we have Statesman is the hero. Talk to Twin Shot again. Hi, Twin Shot. Yeah, what do you got? Stop moving around. Sure, I'll think about it. And that's another mission complete. And the current contact mission, meet the gang, return to contact. So I guess that's back at City Hall, which is, where am I exactly? I'm over there. There we go. We're headed in the right direction. Turn on the super jump. God, I love super jump. Right. Yeah, longbow, or the sort of like shield, more or less. Yeah. Sort of like the two warring factions is Longbow and Arachnos. But Longbow is a little more general, I think. Whereas Arachnos is specific under the command of Lord Arachnos himself. The big, super bad, unfriendly Mr. Guy Dude. It's a technical phrase. Unfriendly Mr. Guy Dude. Talk about available missions. Where do we find him? Leave. Talk to Ms. Liberty. Already did that. This is where they're teaching you, starting to teach you some of the other elements in the game. So, for instance, they tell us to talk to Ms. Liberty. I'm Twin Shot's friend. Talk to Trainer. And now they give me a mission to go to King's Row, which is the second map you'll go to if you start as a good guy in Atlas Park. Again, there are three ways to start. You can start a good guy, a bad guy, or you can start in the mirror universe. That is called going rogue. And this is Statesman right there, is the big superhero, sort of a Superman alike. I need to talk to Blue Steel. In the mirror universe, they were not having any luck fighting a horrible threat called Hamadon. And unlike here, they were losing. And so their version of Statesman became a dictator to save humanity. And he succeeded. But he's still a dictator. And they live under a very oppressive regime. That's their mirror universe, similar to the Star Trek mirror universe, if you're familiar with that. Blue Steel, he wants me to defeat like 5 or 6, 10 Skulls. Skulls is one of the gangs. Yeah. Kingdom Come Superman, the bad guy flavor. Notice how I danced around? That was to make sure that they were both lined up with my shotgun blast. Doing radio missions, super speed, invulnerability tank, SS, super speed? No. Seismic? Something. Invulnerability. I'm going to take a quick kneel down again. Super strength. I think my super strength character I have as a villain. The shortest, squattest character I could create. He is the Dink. get back to work. Just, hey, thank you for hanging out. I appreciate it. Sorry about the having to get back to work bit. But other than that, I hope your Friday night is awesome. Hi, guys. Stop kicking the cop. All right? That's rude and not helpful. I don't like rude and not helpful people. I feel it is important for me to murder them. I mean, wound them. I mean, knock them unconscious so that they can go to a nice English hard. I was going to say a reformation school, but that's not the word I'm looking for. So they can go to prison and learn to be good guys. There we go. The English as a first language lessons are not coming along as quickly as I would like. I need to defeat 2 more. How convenient. There's 2 more. Well, he's supposed to be a professor. Is that all of them? That's all of them. Back to Twin Shot. And he's supposed to bear a passing resemblance. Menu ID. He's supposed to bear a passing resemblance to some handsome gentleman. I can't quite put my finger on it. Yeah, I'm not sure. But he definitely is a very striking gentleman. And he is professor for new guys. Because that's what he is. Professor for new guys. Back to Atlas Park. Frequently, my characters end up looking like me. I believe in truth in advertising on the internet. Hi, Twin Shot. Twin Shot touches the earpiece he's wearing, pauses for a moment. Heads up. Proton is sending out a distress call. He says he needs help. ASAP. Guess what? Once again, their headquarters has been invaded. They are the worst superhero group in the world. Ah ha ha! I don't need a magnifying lens to see the... I see what you did there. Stealing my lines. Alright, memory serves. I've got bad guys waiting for me. Arachnos Invasion Unit. Oh... He webbed me up. You'll note how slow my skills are coming off cooldown. So slow. Got him. Like to make varied characters, but I have a tendency to make pretty badass women. I normally have what most of the time seems to happen is I get an idea for a pun name. And that ends up being my characters. There's been an invasion. I'm going to talk to Twin Shot. When I finish up and hit 6, I think I should hit 6 at the end of this mission. I'll probably call it an evening. But I'll run through my varied array of characters. Now, most of the time for me, the name is the start of the character. You know, sometimes it's a different origin that drives the character, but most of the time, that's where it starts. This is not great. Better take it. Yeah, all right. Had to heal. An orange lieutenant is no freaking joke. I received my first piece of invention salvage. Comes to me first as a concept, like a personality. Roleplay, most of the MMOs. Most of the time for me, it's in most MMOs, that is the way for me as well. But the superhero MMOs, a lot of times the goofy-ass name comes first. Holy crap, I'm probably going to die here. As I'm out of heals. Maybe not. That, holy crap! I can't even see. My health is at 4.6. I'm going to kneel down. I'm fine. I'll walk it off. It's good. As I burned almost all of my inspirations to not die to the bad orange man. See if Dillo's okay. Hi, Dillo. Thank you for no help at all. Find and use the pressurizer. I am pressurizing. The best example of comic book logic in any of the comic book games that I've seen is in Champions Online. One of the movement skills in Champions Online is very similar to Spider-Man's web slinging. It's a grapple hook. And it shoots up in the air, and you swing, and you swing, and you swing. You could be in the middle of the desert, and one of the maps is the middle of the desert, and you're swinging. What are you swinging on? Maybe there's a whole bunch of zeppelins up there. We don't know. You don't need to know. You're just swinging. I will also note that the swinging in that game is a blast. Travel to the 3rd level. Yeah, it's a perfect representation of comic book logic. Simple, elegant, flawless. That's true, it could be a cloud hook, although the desert makes it less likely in that specific instance. More generally, certainly it could be a cloud hook. I found an enhancement. I have no need for male enhancement. I'll have you know that. Oh, in-game enhancement. I'm sorry. Never mind. Another level. That's level 6. I defend the base. I've traveled to the 3rd floor. Did I miss anybody? No, there he is. Flambeau, keep them at bay as I reset the automated security features. I'll talk to Proton. Hey, Proton, how you doing? What am I supposed to do? I'm on it. Enter pulse charge frequency code. Proton, what's the code? He yells you quickly to type in Alpha 1 Prime. Da-ba-da-bum-bum. Mission complete. Success was had. We turn back on our super jump because we're super and we're jumping. Now, one of the features they added, for instance, is that if super jump isn't enough, you also have a second button that gives you double jump. That's right. It's super jump and double jump combined. The two best types of traveling skills at the same time. Be still my heart. It's the bee's knees. Having hit level 6, we talk to Ms. Liberty to train up to a new level of power. Disorienting shot. Takes a long time to reload. It's unable to attack for a while. Let's go with Slug. Fires a slug at a targeted foe. Firing a single slug is slower than firing a burst, but deals more damage at longer range and can knock down foes. And now we have 3 different flavors of gunshot. Let's check the enhancements. We will slot another enhancement here. Another one of the leveling enhancements. You'll note this one now has a red number on it, the 2. That means that it is outside of the level range that you can use it. 3 levels above or below, and you can use it. We're now level 6. This is level 2. But we can take this 3. Oh, can't use it. Wrong flavor. Can't use that one either. Heal and absorb. Well, we can put that into our general health. Can't use that. That's a real quick way of checking to see if there are any that you can use. If they have the red text saying you can't use them, you can't use them. Enhances range. Well, yeah, sure. Let's enhance the range on our buckshot. Enhance running speed. Sure, our sprint. No, our swift. We'll enhance our swift. So now we're swifter than we were. No. And we combine this here. Have a 95% chance of raising this up a level. It did. It's now level 5. And we'll sell the ones that we cannot use. Okay. And I think I'm going to call it here for the evening. This is a good break point. I expect to be back tomorrow in my usual time, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, maybe a little earlier, like tonight. I'll be playing more of this and continuing to level this character up and talk some more about the game systems that you run into more as you level up, and hopefully get to level 12, where I believe we get the crafting tutorial, as I think that would be a good one to show people as to how the crafting in the game works. Crafting allows you to make additional enhancements of all the various flavors that you can socket up, and some of them are exceedingly powerful. These ones you get are relatively straightforward and not especially powerful, but later on you'll be able to make specific types that are significantly more powerful, and then eventually you also get sort of an additional end game advancement system, which I will not get to in here. If you get to the end game, you've probably been around long enough that you won't need any further instruction or advice. But for tonight, I'm going to call it. As you can tell, the server is jumping. I'm sure a lot of new players given the fact that, as of today, as of yesterday, this is an authorized fan-run server, I think a lot of players who might be a little bit leery about playing a private server are more likely to give the game a shot and embrace it, I hope. There's still a lot of great stuff in this game. And I still think, even with Champions Online and DC Universe Online still out there, I still think this is probably the best of the bunch. Mind you, I've played both of the others extensively as well, but I don't think it's just nostalgia for me. I think for a lot of people, they'll say whatever it was they used to play is better because it's what they used to play. I mean, that's certainly true here, but I don't think it's the only thing keeping it going. Pixel Hobo has followed. Welcome to my humble little stream of misfunction, malfunction, dysfunction, and frequently complete and total unfunction. You're most welcome indeed, and thank you for the follow. Thank you for the raids. I got 3 raids this evening, and a number of follows. I want to say to all of you, thank you for hanging out. Follow or not, raid or not, lurk or not. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. I hope your Friday has been awesome and will be more awesome. I should be back tomorrow at the usual time. Hopefully, you'll see me soon. Have a great night tonight. Take care. Ciao for now. Good night, guys.